Hi everyone. On September 13th, the Holy Orthodox Church celebrates the memory of the holy great martyr Ketevan of Georgia. Now, Ketevan was decidedly a very pious and very clever young woman who ended up being married to the Prince David, who was son of Alexander the Second in an eastern province of Georgia. There were two brothers of David also, George and Constantine. Now, after Ketevan and David were married, Alexander left his throne and took up the monastic tonsure. Unfortunately, it was not to last. One of the sons, Constantine, had the great misfortune and mistake of converting to Islam. And as a result of this, no end of turmoil was to occur for this royal family. Adding to the problems thereof, David himself, though still a young man, reposed, leaving Ketevan as a widow and no one to occupy the throne. Thereupon, Alexander came out of retirement, if you can call it that, as a monastic and ascended the throne again. Constantine, however, was up to no good, and he went into Persia, and he requested an audience with the Shah Abbas, who then told him that he was to go back into Georgia and was to murder his father Alexander and his other brother George, which he did with no little haste. After this terrible tragedy occurred, Ketevan was left in a real quandary, and so she appealed to the Shah Abbas and offered her own son as the king of this province in Georgia, while she herself would be regent. This was accepted for the time being, but as time went on, other things happened as well. Because of the betrayal of the faith and the royal family by Constantine, the nobles in Georgia rose up and killed him. The Persian ruler was not happy with any of this, and so he threatened Ketevan and finally took her hostage along with her son into the deepest regions of Persia. This lasted for quite a while, and Ketevan, because of this, as the life story says, now changed her very pampered body into an extremely ascetic one. She spent many hours in prayer and fasting, and even sleeping on a stone tablet. But eventually, after many, many years, over 10 years at least, the Shah then decided that he wanted to take Ketevan for his wife. At the time all of this happened, he had plundered Georgia. In fact, more than 300,000 Georgians were exiled for their homeland deep into Persia. And Georgia was essentially bereft of a ruler and almost completely desolate as a country. Ketevan at this point was not very interested in marrying this man. And because of her delay, because of her hindrance to all the things that he was trying to do, it is said that Georgia itself survived as a country, because once the mothers and the women of Georgia saw her strength and her courage and what she was doing, well, because of this, they also followed in her footsteps and refused to be any sorts of accomplices to the things that the Persian ruler wanted done. And by doing that, may have saved Georgia from becoming just an accessory state to Persia, which is now Iran. The Shah was not happy with this, and he gave her an ultimatum. Either she was to convert to Islam and marry him immediately, or she would be killed. She chose the latter. She dressed herself in very festive robes, and she was led into a very public place where horrible tortures ensued. There was a hot cauldron of copper put on her head. There was a board that was nailed to her spine. She was skewered with spears and finally cracked open in her skull so that she gave up her soul. When she died, though, despite the fact that they were wanting to get rid of her relics, the Lord protected them. And there were actually some Catholic monks there who had seen and witnessed what had happened to her and were astonished by it, and took some of her relics back to Georgia, where they were buried in a cathedral, although some, it is said, were taken to India. Actually, in the year 2013, it is believed that these missing relics were located. But nonetheless, the Lord protected these relics by a heavenly light, and all saw it and were in great wonder at what had happened. This might seem far removed from us today. This actually took place in the year 1624. But it shows that even a great ruler of a nation can have a great moral streak and can protect the people that are under her by her own sacrifices. Though her family member had converted to Islam and called no end of trouble for her, yet in the end she gave her life as a witness to Christ and as a protection for all those people in Georgia who were at risk of being absolutely decimated. Holy and great martyr only begins to describe the great Ketevan. And by her prayers may we also, in our own small ways, be examples to others that come